Welcome to Python Basics with EJD. In this video, we continue to string operations in Python. This follows from our consideration for Python variable data types, which include integers, floating point numbers, complex numbers, booleans, and strings. So previously we had considered arithmetic operations in Python, basically focusing on dealing with real numbers. And afterwards, we looked at complex number operations in Python. Then that led to Boolean operations in Python in the last video. So now we're looking at string operations in Python, how to handle characters, strings, texts and things like this. And this will have application in areas like natural language processing, which is a branch of artificial intelligence. Of course, we've been working lately using Google Collaboratory, which is built on Jupyter Notebook. So if you have Jupyter Notebook files, IPNB files that is, you can basically just upload them in Google Colab and continue your work. All right. And then anything you do in Google Colab, you can also convert them to, you can save them in IPNB and then use them in Jupyter Notebook. So it's like seamless. You can actually use them, the two platforms seamlessly, Jupyter Notebook and Google Collaboratory. Our focus now is on string operations in Python. Okay, so string operations in Python, right? So, this is not our first time of encountering strings. I believe this is like the third video, I think, in which we have been talking about strings. Okay. So I mentioned it at first when we talked about naming variables in Python. And I talked about it when I talked about, I was talking about Python variable data types. And yeah, this is the place now where we actually look at all the nuances of strings in Python. Okay. Strings are used to store sequences of characters by way of introduction. So you use strings to store sequences of characters, and they are enclosed within single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. So once you enclose anything within a single quote, within single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes, they automatically become strings. But of course, if you don't assign them a variable name, they'll be like maybe some kind of commenting, maybe something close to multi-line commenting. All right. But then if you assign them variable names, they automatically become what you can call string variables. So strings are a fundamental data type in Python and are used to represent text data. We get to work with text a lot, so we need to understand the nuances of string operations. So how do you create a string? That's the first thing. I think I talked about this when I was mentioning Python variable data types. So easily, to create a string in Python, simply enclose a sequence of characters in single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Either of these will be fine, right? Imagine, for instance, where we say string one is hello world, string two. So the first one we use single quotes, the second one we use double quotes, the third one we use triple quotes. So all of them are basically the same. It doesn't matter the quote. So when you print all of this, they basically come out the same way. All right. I think I've talked about this before, so I'll just run everything in one blow. But number four, string four is four. So normally four is a number, right? Four is supposed to be an integer. But once you put it within quotation, it automatically becomes a string, right? So anything you want to turn to a string, you can just put quotes and that's it. Once it turns red, then it is now a string, no longer an integer or float. Even if you have 4.0 and you put string, you put quotation, it becomes a string. So string five, of course, is another example. Then string seven, well, the debate is that a string or what? Well, it's a string technically, but Python will not see it as a string, especially since you are not executing any command on it, like you're not printing it or you're not assigning it to a variable name. So it's more of a multi-line comment, of course, though it's in a single line, but because we have used triple quotes, okay? But you can just say print that. I mean, okay, let's have that, right? And then I could have said just copy this now, okay, and say, so we could just print that. I just say print, then we have that like this, and then we run that. And first time when you're running, everything takes a bit of a bit slow, but subsequently things pick up and they're fast. So you can see now I'm saying string one, hello world. So you see the first three are all the same, not minding the fact that one is one string, one quote, one quote, single quotes. The second one is double quotes, and the third one is triple quotes, right? So no worries at all about that. Then we also have so four now. So you see this four here, it looks like a number. It's no longer a number. It is basically a string because if you check the type for string four, it's actually string. String five, I'm a great one. That's to be expected. Then you can also print directly without assigning it to a variable name. But this one standing on its own, technically, it looks like a string, but technically it is not a string because especially you're not executing anything on it. So it just serves as a comment in that situation. This looks like a string. This, 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 uh, this is okay. Let me say this is more of a comment, okay, than a string, okay, than a string, since no action, no action is being carried out. No action is being carried out on it. Now, this should actually pass for a multi-line comment, but because the initial thing is already looking like a multi-line comment, that's why I don't bother about that. Okay, so or another thing I can do is I can just cut that. This looks more. This is more of a comment than a string. Okay, then I can bring it down and do tap 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 tap, and then make it into a comment like this. So since no action is being carried out on it, yeah. So that also gives us a clue on that. All right. So we have that. So let's look at other things. Now imagine this now that we have uh, job, like job is the variable name, and I say I'm a teacher. So you see, if you have I'm a teacher, you already have apostrophe, which looks like a single quote. So if you have this kind of situation, you are going to have an error because, in fact, you can already see that it looks like the single quote is on I because the rest is not recognized. Because if something is a string, everything has got to be in red. So if you run this now, you're going to have an error because you have an unterminated string literal. So you say I'm a teacher, so it stops recognizing up to I. So it means that when you have an apostrophe or something like that, in a sentence, it's better you don't use the kind of you don't use single quotes because single quotes will come across as apostrophe. So what's the correction to that? Just use double quotes, which supersedes the single quotes already there. So in this case now, everything just works out perfectly. So I'm a teacher. Very soon you're going to see how you can actually use single quotes and still be fine when we talk about escape characters, but we get there very soon. So another thing we can do with strings is we can concatenate strings. The idea of concatenation, you have it in chemistry, you have it in programming and all that. So it's applicable to string too. Concatenation simply means you are joining up, you are joining more than one string together. Imagine first name is Emmanuel. Now, one thing you need to know about string is that anything you have in a string will be like that. If you have like here now, I've carefully put a space there. So I've closed up the space. So if I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spaces, that is exactly how it is going to come out. So I have full name Emmanuel with 10 spaces. Then last name I have done so no space. And full name is now, so if I now say full name is first name plus last name. So you can use Python allows you to concatenate strings using the plus operator. So you can use this plus and concatenate two strings. So if I run this now, the space is going to be out exactly the way. So you see now you have Emmanuel, 10 spaces before Dansu. But if I don't want that much space, if I close up all the spaces, right, that will also be pretty because everything will just be joined up. So I can create one space here and then I have that one space. Or I can close this up and create the space in the beginning of this, and then I still have the same space. But if I do this, I don't have any space. So I rather put it here, so you can navigate all of that. So inside quotations, anything you have there will come out exactly like that. I think the same rule applies even in Excel, right? Whatever you have in quotation marks will be printed exactly that way. Now, so here I'm playing with the quotations, right? So I have first name Emmanuel with one space, middle name Jason with one space, last name Dansu with no space. For the first one, I use double quotes. For the second one, I use single quotes. For the third one, I use triple quotes. no problem at all. Then my variable names are also in order because there are no spaces. I use underscore. So then you can see I put spaces so that so that everything will be joined together. So if I close the spaces now, everything will be joined together. So I put single space inside the quotation so that I can have space in between because I have concatenated full names now with first name plus middle name plus last name. So we can actually do this. So you can join one or two or more strings together to form one using plus, which is good for concatenation. So you see the plus here and the plus here also, right? So you have that. All right. So another thing we can do with strings is that we can index strings. So we can have string indexing and slicing. So you can access individual characters within a string using indexing, right? So here you have so imagine that we are working with a variable named Emmanuel Dansu, and in a string, everything counts. The letters, the spaces are all important. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, space 9, D10, A11, N12, S13, U14. So we have 14 characters in this string named Emmanuel. The variable name is Emmanuel. So we can actually index and slice strings. Indexing is making reference to a particular character in the string. For instance, okay, let me even remove all this, and then we can talk about it. Okay, well, I think it doesn't matter really. Good. So imagine that we want to, if you print name 5, one thing you need to understand is that counting in Python starts from 0, right? So the first character is seen as 0. So if you want to count this now, we counted 14 here. But if Python is going to reference it, E will be 0. The first M is 1. The second M is 2. The A is 3, N 4, 5, 6, 7. The space is 8. D is 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So we have 14 characters numbered from 0 to 13. That's how Python counts. So if you are going to talk about name, from the name variable now, we are taking the fifth character, the character labeled 5. That'll be the sixth actually. So because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is why U will be the answer here, right? So name 0, that'll be the E because that's the first thing. Then name -1, that'll be first thing from the back. So when you have minus like that, it's coming from the back. So that's why this is also U from the back. But then we can also slice. So the indexing is all these ones now. Then we can have slicing. Slicing is if you cut out a portion of your character of your string, right? So if I say 2 to 7, now this is also tricky because in Python, right? If you have 2 to 7, it starts from, you have 0, 1, it starts from 2, then it stops at 6 because you are going from 2 to 7. The last one is usually excluded. So you have E is 0, we don't need that. M is 1, we don't need it. But from the second M, we have this is now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of going to L, which is the seventh, it doesn't go there. It stops at a step short of 6. So counting starts from 0. And when you have an upper bound like that, it doesn't. That last one is exclusive. It's excluded from it. That is how you have Manuel instead of Manuel. Because we have 0, 1, then you start from 2, and then you stop at 6. That's what happens here. Now, when you have something like what you have in this line 11, do you know what's happening here? In this line 11 now, so we have print blank full colon 8. That means print everything and stop a step short of 8. Don't get to 8. So it means start from 0, but don't get, and then stop at 7. That's what it simply means. So it means it's going to give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That is why this is going to be Emmanuel, right? And then I have name 9 to the end. Now, see, this is another tricky part, right? So this one means anything you have before the full colon is included. So it means start from 9 and go to the end. So in this case now, once a number is not specified, so it goes all the way. So start from 9 and go and get to the last. So here I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Done. So 9 starts from D. So it means start from D and take everything. That is why that is going to be Dansu, right? Like that. So it's tricky, but pay attention to the fact that counting starts from 0. And if you have a range, you don't get to the with an upper bound. So you don't get to that upper bound, right? But if the upper bound is empty, so it goes all the way. Then if you have 0 to 4 now. It means it starts from 0 and ends at whatever is 4 from there. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3. You don't get to 4. Yeah. You should get to n, right? If you are doing 4, but you don't get to that 4, just like I said. So that's why this is Iman instead of Iman. Iman. Then 9 to 12 means start from 9 and stop at 11, right? So as we know, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 9, D, 9, 10. So we are going from 9 to 12. So that'll be 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, 11. That's why this is done right here. So this is done. Then we can actually concatenate. So this name from 0 to 3, that means from beginning to 3. So that'll be E0, M1, M2. We don't get to 3. So we have EMM right here. The 9 to 12, of course, that's what we have here. That's im done. All right. So with this now, we can run all of this, and then we have all these different things, right? So that is the idea of indexing in for strings like that. Okay, so next thing, let's talk about some string methods. There are some methods in string that we can use for different operations, right? Um, okay, so imagine we have a string called hello world, right? So if you want to so we have uh, Python provides a variety of built-in string methods that can be used to manipulate and transform strings. Some commonly used string methods include upper, lower, replace, split, join, and strip, right? So you have string hello world. So if you say print string dot upper, so it means it will convert the whole string to upper case. If you want lower, it converts everything to lowercase. Then you can also do string dot replace. So it will replace whatever you choose. So if you want to replace hello with hi, then instead of hello world, it becomes hi world. Then you can also split the words of a string, right? So you say words is equal to, so you can use string as a variable name because it is not a keyword in Python, right? So words is equal to string dot split. So this one will split the string into a list of words. So whatever words, if you have 10 words, it will break them into their components. So print words. So if you print these words now, we have assigned the variable words to string dot split. So the string is hello world. So it splits it into hello and world as separate words, you know. And then for new string now, you can also join strings with any sign you like. So here we are using a dash, right? You can use anything here. You can use a plus, you can use a star, you can use whatever. So if once you have that dot join words, so these words have been split apart now. You now want to join them together. So you can join the words with a hyphen. In this case, you can change whatever you want to join it with. So you can now, if you print the new string now, you have hello dash, hello hyphen world. Then look at this now. This string 13 now, it has how many spaces before hello? One, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces before hello world. Hello. And then after world, we have 1, 2, 3 after hello. So if you print that normally, so here I'm printing that original string, but then in line 15, you can also strip the spaces before and after. If you're doing data analysis, for instance, or if you are dealing with a table in maybe in software engineering, I don't want any unnecessary spaces before and after. You can actually strip it like that to remove any space that may be before any words you have like that. So if I run all this now, we get all these results. So you see the first one is hello world, where we are printing hello world in the upper case. All right. Hello world is converted to upper. Then the next one is hello world in small letter. That's set for line 4. Then for replace now, instead of hello world, we now have hi world because hello is replaced with hi. Then the line 7 string split is what has split the hello world into hello and world, their components. Then a new string that we are joining with hello that hyphen world. So you can actually use anything. You can use plus. So if you do plus now, you see it becomes hello plus world. You can even use X, anything you use, it comes hello X world. You can use underscore, hello underscore world. You can use asterisk, or even hash. You have hello hash world. You can use asterisk, like I said, this, and you have hello asterisk world. You can use anything percent, hello percent world, whatever. So here we're using a hyphen, and that is what we have. Now, look at this now. This line 13 is what we have here. So in 14, if you print that string the way it is, you can see the 4 spaces before and the 4 spaces after. So by the time we run this line 14, this is what gives us this. But line 15 now, so we say string dot strip. So if you do this strip, it removes the spaces before the first word and the spaces after the last word. But the spaces in between will remain just the way they are. So that's why this one that was shifted 4 spaces after, and with this 3 spaces, 4 spaces before and 3 spaces after, is now normalized because you have stripped it of all the unnecessary spaces. So that has a lot of use cases. So I'm using that same, all those functions, I'm using them right here on my name, a string I've called my name. Yeah, Emmanuel Jason Dansu, doesn't have to be called string. I can easily just call it EJD so that anyway, I now have string, I just change all of that to EJD. So the variable name is not, you can make it whatever you like. Okay, this is where I can, okay, if I change all the string, it will become EJD. So let's leave that out like that. So just make sure you change all the string in this particular cell to EJD, right? All the string change to variable name EJD, all right? So what else? So new string now. Okay, I don't think, so new string, or in this case, let me well, I can even leave it as new string, or let me say new EJD, whatever, new EJD. So anyway, I see string, I just change it to EJD all the way. Okay. So I have here to be EJD. That's a short form acronym based on my name, alphabetization kind of. So EJD like that. Then I come here and I do EJD. Okay. So just like everything that we've done at the top before, see what's happening here. The variable name is EJD, full name manager. So print EJD.upper. It changes everything to okay. So okay, now this is not applicable here. Okay, let me just go step by step. So it changes everything to capital letter Emmanuel, Jesuyon, Dansu, and then for lower, EJD.lower, it changes everything to small letter. So again, we have Emmanuel, all in small letter now. Emmanuel, Jesuyon, Dansu. Then here now we have, instead of Emmanuel, of course, I have another name called Huena, it's not my official name. So Emmanuel now replaces, so instead of Emmanuel Jesuyon Dansu, we now have Huenayon Jesuyon Dansu. So instead of that now, so it means we are replacing Emmanuel with Huenayon. So instead of Emmanuel, I have Huenayon like this, Huenayon like that. Okay. Then what else? So this hello world, now it's splitting the words up. So you just have, Emmanuel. So this now becomes Emmanuel here. Then the next one is Jesuyon. So in this case, we have 3 words. So we're going to have 3 words like that. Okay. This, then I have this again, Dansu. So it's to split it up into 3 like this. Then you can also join the words using plus. So it means instead of hello world now, you're going to have Emmanuel Jason Dansu. So if you use plus for that, so you're going to have so all those. Now you have Emmanuel plus Jesuyon, you have plus Dansu. Then here I have spaces in before and spaces after. So okay, we can actually even print the EJD, right? I can print the EJD so you can see the spaces, print EJD first, and then strip it. So if you print EJD, you're going to have the space just the way it is, right? Then if you strip it, then you have the normal EJD the way it should be, like this. Okay, so I run all this now. So you see everything I've said is exactly going to happen. So up there, everything is done. Capital, small, replacing Emmanuel with Huenayo, splitting up the words, joining up with plus, or if you like. So you can see it doesn't matter that it's 3 words now, or joining up with underscore this time around, you have all of that. So all these things work. Okay, let's talk about string formatting. We can actually do string formatting. I think we've done something like this previously under printing. So we did the format and f strings, formatted literal strings. So the format and f strings, which are formatted literal string literals methods, allow you to insert values into a string at specific locations. These were previously considered under printing. Okay, I thought I shouldn't bother before, but I think I have a feeling that I should go for it now. So if you want to talk about format, so talking about format like this, okay, this is text, right? So for format, let's imagine. Okay, yeah, I think I need a code, I don't need I don't need a text for, I don't need a text cell for this. I need a code cell to do that actually. So we come here again. Okay, I need a code text for that. So I can then do commenting to talk about format. So I'll just take an example since we've done that under printing already. Imagine, oh, this is serious. So you can see AI has done all of this for us. So let me just accept everything. Okay, I accept everything. I mean, this is lovely. So that's one beauty of Google Colab. So it's telling me that name is Emmanuel, age is 25. So for format, right, you can do age. So I have my name as Emmanuel, age is 25. So format will just say so I have placeholders for each of the variables. So my name is Emmanuel and I am 25 years old. So, and then I do dot format, name and age. So what I explained the other time is if this is going to be printed. You know what happens? So the Python comes and says, my name is, so it sees this placeholder and it wonders what is supposed to be here. So it jumps to format and sees name. Then it checks out the name. It sees that the name is Emmanuel and it puts it. So my name is Emmanuel and it sees the second one, jumps here and says, oh, that second one should be age, and it goes for age and says it's 25. And when it's printed, it prints, my name is Emmanuel and I'm 25 years old. Okay. So we need another, okay, normally I should run that using alternate enter so that I can automatically create the next one. So here again, I want to do F strings, right? F strings. So I trust this guy to also give me now. I mean, this is lovely. This is so lovely. So here I come and I accept everything. Okay, so I accept it. So name is Emmanuel, age is 25. So instead of doing this placeholder thing, it just puts the variable directly. So we don't need to now do dot format name dot age. So if I just, so this one, I just comes, so, but this is the F string. So F, you have F coming first, right? That's what really sets this apart. So my name is, it comes here and says, oh, it should be name variable here. So the name, actual name is Emmanuel. So my name is Emmanuel and I am age 25. So, I mean, I'm not 25. This is just an example. So my name is Emmanuel and I'm 25 years old. Okay, so that we've done that under printing, but I think AI has even made it easier to repeat that right here. So let's talk about how to manipulate strings. So we can actually manipulate strings. Previously, we saw that if you have an apostrophe within a string, you should you should what should I say now? You should use if you have apostrophe within a string, you should not use single quotes. But here we can actually use single quotes and we'll still be fine. That's exactly we're learning here. So you know what I'm going to do? Oh, okay, this is actually separate. Oh, that's fine. So we're good. So let me just leave it the way it is. Okay. So escape character. So the first manipulation we're talking about will be escape characters. Escape characters in Python are special characters that are used to represent certain non-printable or reserved characters. Like, for instance, when I have an apostrophe in a sentence and I'm using single quotes, it won't work, you know. But escape characters can help us overrule that. So they are used by placing a backslash. If you have a backslash before the character to be escaped, then so Python can look over that and get you what you want. Here's a list of common escape characters in Python with their codes. So look at this now. So see these escape characters. One backslash, right, in front of a quotation, which would normally be problematic. So that is for single quote now. So print, if you use single quote and you have, it's a sunny day. So you have something that looks like a single quote, but because the single quote is going to be problematic, you use a backslash and then it escapes. And that is exactly what is happening here. So the other time I said, print, I am a teacher. All right. So normally if you don't have this here, okay, Control Z. If you don't have the backslash here, you're going to have an error as you have it. But if you press one backslash, you know, everything becomes a string. If you remove this, you see only I looks like a string. If you put it back, everything is a string. So you can now run it and you have a very correct result to work with. Okay. Now that goes. Then for double quotes too. So if imagine you have double quotes and you're using double quotes outside. So like you need to quote someone and you now need to put it as a string. So you have backslash double quote. So double quote now you have print. He said hello. So this hello is part of the sentence, but because you have double quotes outside, this cannot work, right? So he said hello now. Okay. Uh, okay. This is another example, right, of single one. So I can come here and then I run that again. It's a sunny day. So because of the escape, I can actually get to do that. So what if I want, okay, I want another cell down there. So let me use alternate enter. I could just create it, right? But this feels easier. So I cut this out and I place it here right now. What's that? what's happening there. So this is where I want it. Okay, so he said hello. Normally, because I have double quotes outside for the creation of the string, so once I remove the quotation, this cannot work anymore. So if I run this, I'm going to have an error message. But to escape now, I can just put backslash in front of this and backslash in front of this, and everything works. Everything works excellently now. So, okay, I mean, let me run with alternate enter, and then we are good. So, oh, alternate enter actually. So I create a new cell. So for this next one now, let's demonstrate how this next one works. So for the next one, see what I have here. So I have this. Okay. Let's see. So here we have backslash new line. So we can use the, I mean, in the days of typewriting, right? So when you get to the end of a line, you can use your return carry, which makes some kind of sound, and then it goes to the next line. So in Python, using backslash n just automatically pushes whatever you're doing down. So if you print first line dot backslash n second line, so this backslash n automatically pushes the second line. That statement, though they are in one line, it pushes it to the second line. So if you run this now, you see first line, second line. So if you remove the backslash, nothing happens. The end just comes like in normal text. But if you put backslash, it pushes that second line down. That's the essence of that second line. Okay. Let me run using Alt Enter so that it can create a new space for me. Okay. So we also have the next one where I can put this now. So I have backslash T. What does backslash T do? Backslash T is tab. So it pushes away that second column. So your first column, second column. So backslash T pushes it away to a second column. All right. Like, so in this case now, if I run this, so you have first column, second column. So if I remove the backslash, I just have enter, and it's just that space, right? So but backslash pushes it, creates some kind of space. Okay, I run with alternate enter so I can have a new cell created. So we have this one again. All right, we put this right here. All right, so you see the next one now is double backslash. So normally for double backslash, you need to put, if you need double backslash, you need an extra backslash so that the double backslash can work. So in this case now you're printing C, like maybe a directory, a file directory. So you have C full colon double backslash program files. All right, for double backslash now. So you need an extra backslash to make that possible. So imagine here now, here, so the program files normally should have double backslash. So, but because you want double backslash, you need to put another extra one. So you now have this. Imagine if you remove one backslash, you're going to only have it printed with one backslash, but you want two, so you make it three, so that two can be printed like that. So I use alternate enter so that it can create another cell for me automatically, so I don't have to worry about creating another cell. Okay, so we have backslash B, as you can see again. Backslash B is for backspace. So you have hello B world. So it's will backspace. I think, let's see, we run that. So you see what happens. It deletes this hello. So yeah, so it deletes. Backspace means if you press backspace on your keyboard, like I press backspace now, it deletes that bracket. So the backslash B has the same effect. So instead of hello world, it now becomes like hell world, right? If I run with alternate enter, it creates a new cell so I can try the next thing. So for this other one, it's a bit tricky too, depending on your computer, I believe. So here now, you have backslash R, and backslash R is for carriage return, just like I said before, talking about old typewriters. So carriage return, it can, overwrite something. I mean, it jumps over. Let's run it to see what happens here. Okay, so you see now, 1, 2, 3, it forgets about whatever is in the back and then just jumps to 45, right? So like that. So let me see if I have backslash R here. Does 2 work? Yeah, so it still gives me the 45. So it focuses on this 45 now. So it doesn't care about this 1, 2, 3. So carriage return, so it's more like just pushes down the 45 and forgets about what is before it. Then lastly, we have the form feed, I think that's what it's called. Backslash F. We have we have backslash BR and all that. Form feed now. Print hello world, see what that does. Okay, these are some character things like that. So you have hello world, no space, right? You just make sure there's no space. So I mean it feels a bit redundant because if you just remove if you remove this backslash F, you get the same thing, right? So it's kind of redundant. So but it is what it is. Okay, so now that all of that is done, Okay, I want this to go now. So, we are still talking about string. No, we are talking about manipulating strings. So we've talked. So everything we've dealt with so far has been about escape characters under manipulating strings. So apart from that, we can have in and not in operators. I think we did something close to this under Boolean operations, where we say this belongs to this doesn't belong to that. So we can do that kind of thing for strings and iterable. So very soon I'll be talking about iterable in a subsequent video. I don't know I don't. I think that should be coming after I deal with Python variable data structures like lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries, which I think should come after all this operation I've been working with. So in and not in operators, the in and not in operators are used to test whether a value is a member of a sequence, such as a string, list, or tuple. So, like I said, we had something like this in when we're dealing with Boolean operations to say this belongs to that, and then it says true or false. Same thing applies here, except that the focus is on strings. There too, it was on strings, right? So imagine that you have a variable called my string assigned hello world all in small letters, and you say print you want to check is 0 in my string. So my string is hello world. Is O there? Of course, there's O here, there's another O here. So that's true. Then print is Z in my string. There's no Z, that'll be false for sure. Then carefully, is LO space W there? Of course, we have LO space W. So that'll be true. Is LOW there? Fine, there's LOW there, but in the strict sense, the quotation tells you those things you have there are in that very strict sense. So there's LOW, but they are not together like what we're expecting here. So that would definitely be false. Then you can now do with my numbers. You have my list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Print 3 is in my list. 3 is there. That will be true. 6 is in my list. That's false. All right. So if you run this now, that's what you get. That's for the in operator. So everything is an in operator so far. So not in is just the opposite of that. So the not in operator on the other side is the negation of the in operator. It returns true if the value is not found in a sequence and false otherwise. So it's basically the same technically. All right. So imagine that you have my string hello world, right? And then you have print O is not in my string. O, that'll be false because O is in my string, right? Z is not in my string. That's true because Z is not there. LO space W is not in my string. That's false because LO space W is there. LOW is not in my string is true because there's LOW, but they are not together, right? Then my list, 3 is not in my list. That's false because 3 is there. 6 is not in my list. That's true because there's no 6 there really. So if you run this, that's what you get. Okay. So we can also come and do, let's say we have a class register where we have students called Adekunle Akinshokwe Christiana, Chukwudi Godonyo Jemima, Kolade and Tolulope, for instance. So now you want to check print. Kolapo is in class register. Well, if you look through, we have Kolade, not Kolapo. So that will be false because there's no Kolapo there because everything is strictly that. Kolade is in class. That's true because there's a Kolade in class. Jemim is not in class. That's true because there's nobody called Jemim in that class. But Jemima is not in class. That's false because it's actually Jemima, right? So if you run this now, you have false, true, true, false. So with that, we come to the end of strings. So you can manipulate strings this way. That's talking about string operations in Python. So we've seen all of these possibilities all along. So that's how it's been with string operations in Python. Okay, so from now on, you can play around with text. You can strip any text of unnecessary spaces before and after and all that. Let me know how helpful this video is for you. And if there's something you'd like me to try out, feel very free to let me know. If you have subscribed already, thank you so much for that. I'm sure you're having a very nice time, interacting with the content I have on my channel, right? If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe because you stand to gain a whole lot. So subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released, right? And apart from that, you can become a member of my channel. That grants you some special privileges like having a one-on-one interaction with me or getting PDF copies of some of any of my maths classes. You can get that based on your membership, and you have all of that going. So and then you can have some videos exclusively for you. So ultimately, don't forget to like, share, comment so that more people can have access to the great content we have going on here. All right. Till I come your way again, keep doing Python right. Bye.